As far as the eye could see, there was corn, or, more specifically, fields of corn. Long, tall stalks of green with the fuzzy yellow of the silk just starting to pop through on some of the cobs. It was hot, much too hot to be on the road, with the sun beating down on the asphalt as the tires of the car made their repetitive humming sound on each revolution, with one click noise interrupting the hypnotic beat. "Must have picked up a piece of gravel at that diner," stated Michael, breaking the otherwise silent drive. "I guess so," replied Hannah. "It's gonna drive me nuts," she went on. "When we get to the house, I'll check it out," said Michael. Although it wasn't really bothering him, he knew that it was the type of little thing that would bother Hannah. "How far away is this place again?" he asked. Another 80 miles, I guess. My mother said that we can't miss it. It's a big old white house, right when the fields part. There's a swing in the tree of the front yard, mowed grass, and a wraparound porch. A red wraparound porch. Mom says it sticks out like a sore thumb. I think it sounds cute." Michael and Hannah were on their way to see a house that a realtor friend of Hannah's mother had suggested. They'd outgrown their one-bedroom apartment in the city, and both Hannah and Michael worked from home. Their daughter, Cora, had just turned 3, and they wanted to raise her and any future siblings in a simpler setting than the rush of people and the noise of vehicles and the pollution of both. "The email says," Hannah began, "that the town is looking for some fresh blood. They've invested in the town center, put in parks and a bubbling water play area. There's lots of touristy shops and boutiques, so I might be able to sell my art. I guess they get passers-by, but not many people moving in. Probably be us and 2,000 old farts." Michael laughed and replied, "Sounds perfect. 2,000 potential babysitters." Hannah laughed. "Well, that's true, I suppose. Old people always want to get their hands on a baby." 30 more miles down the road, Hannah and Cora were both sound asleep when there was a loud bang and the car jolted and it began to swerve. "What the hell?" asked Hannah, adjusting herself in the seat and looking out the window. "Damn, blew a tire. Guess it wasn't a rock. Hang on." Michael slowed the car down and pulled off the road with the tires just in the ditch. "Oh, no," said Hannah. "That's just great. It's hot as hell out. There's not another car in sight, and we're going to be late." Michael started. "It's not going to take too long to change a tire. I'll hurry. You and Cora grab a couple of those bottles of water that we brought and go sit in the shade of the corn. I need to call my mom and ask her to call Phyllis, the realtor. We are going to be late now." "Oh," she said, frustrated. "It's already afternoon. We need to have daylight to check it out." She was going on and on. "Hannah, it's not going to take hours, for Christ's sake." He wasn't any happier about the situation than she was, but she was quicker to anger. "What did you run over anyway?" she snapped while moving around in her seat, trying to get better reception. "Well, I guess we'll figure out, huh?" he mumbled. She pressed number 2 on her phone and it began to ring. "Hello?" Hannah said into the phone. "Mom? You there? Hello? Hannah? Is that you? Hello?" replied her mom before the line went dead. Hannah stepped out of the car and wandered in a circle, holding her phone in the air. "Damn it," she yelled. Cora had woken up by now. "Mommy said a bad word," she said to no one in particular. "Yes, she did," agreed Michael. "Michael," yelled Hannah. "Stop," she laughed. "Mommy is full of bad words," he said, and Cora giggled. "Mommy is just acting silly," she said, as she unbuckled Cora from her seat. "Grab your blanket, baby girl," she told Cora, "and your baby." She lifted Cora out of the car while Michael was getting into the trunk. "Here," he said, just after Hannah had placed Cora alongside of the cornfield. He tossed her a couple of bottles of water. "Please hurry," Hannah begged. "You know I will melt in the shade." She stopped herself. "Mommy almost said a bad word again," giggled Cora. Michael was bent down next to the car with the jack. "Stay here for just a second, Cora," instructed Hannah as she went to the car to grab a sweatshirt out of the trunk to sit on. It was red and green, and she'd worn it as an ugly Christmas sweater last year, and she had taken it off immediately after the party to change into something different for the dinner they were attending after. She was glad that she'd left it in the trunk. Finally, her tendency to procrastinate had paid off, she thought. Just as she was turning to go back to sitting in the shade of the cornstalks, Michael asked her to hand him a bottle of water, and as she grabbed it and walked around to the back tire, she felt a chill. It wasn't a wind at first, nor even a small breeze. It was inside her spine, running up the back, into the base of her skull. She shivered and asked Michael if he'd felt anything. He was dripping with sweat as she handed him the bottle, and he wiped the sweat off his forehead with the back of his hand. Before he could answer, the rows and rows and rows of corn began to twitch and sway. The stalks made an almost clawing noise as they came together and scratched each other with the toughness of their husks. Hannah didn't know why or how she knew, but at that moment, deep down inside, she knew that there was something evil surrounding them. She quickly glanced over to Cora as she felt the dark feeling settle in around them. The air felt hotter and more dense somehow. A cloud in the sky, the one and only cloud in the sky, moved in front of the sun and cast a gray color over everything. The road ahead was stretching as far as the eye could see and somehow seemed darker. The green of the cornstalks, which were still rubbing against each other in the wind like some choreographed dance in which they stretched out their arms to touch and grab onto the stalk next to them. They were all so in sync with their movement. The sounds growing louder and louder, so loud Hannah thought she might close her eyes and put her hands over her ears like a small child. Michael startled her when he grabbed her by the elbow and shouted, "Where's Cora?" It was almost as if Hannah already knew, as she searched with her eyes at the place where Cora's blanket sat. Empty. "Cora!" she yelled as the wind whipped around her head and the sound of the scratching flooded her senses as if she could feel the vibration in the air of the stalks and the leaves coming together faster and faster. "Cora!" yelled Michael as he dropped to his knees to look under the car. Then he looked inside the car, in the trunk, and up and down the seemingly endless road. Hannah ran to the edge of the cornfield, straining her eyes to try and catch a sight of the bright yellow jumper Cora was wearing. Frozen at the edge, terrified through her very being, as she turned to see Michael, who ran down the road just a bit, his hair tossing in the wind, his hands cupped around his mouth, yelling their daughter's name. As she stepped into the field, the sound of the wind and the scratching became even more clear. Hannah and Cora English were never seen again. The house they were on their way to see was taken off the market until exactly 1 year to the day after the mother and daughter had gone missing. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you like my story, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. If you are not subscribed and you would like to be, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, ring that bell. Good night.